Turn my music high, 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 high. Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
Sure I do. I'm from the streets with a hood to swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much coke that...
What's going on? Week 6 has just been put away. It was a good week for some of us. It was a bad week for others. And in a breakout week for one of us. And I'll get into that sooner or later. But let's get started with definitely a heartbreaker for me. The first game I want to talk about is the game I had, Online Aztecs versus the Bone Crushers. When I went to bed on Monday night, it was 86-85 my win, which I needed because if not, I would have gone on a 4-game losing streak. So I went to bed thinking, hey, this is good. I woke up to a score of 86-89. I didn't have the 89. You know, Frankie had the 89. 89-86. Frankie, you were on a 3-game winning streak. 3 weeks ago, you couldn't win one. Now you've won 3 in a row. I, on the other hand, have lost 4 in a row. And this is exactly what fantasy football is. At 1 minute, you're on top. The next minute, you're on the bottom. And it sucks. You know, my guys just didn't, I mean, you know, I took a couple gambles on Vic Ballard. He only got 3 points. He's a new starting running back for Indianapolis. Also, you know, Vernon Davis is not playing. Brandon Lloyd, he got 8, but come on, we need more from that. Patriots defense, 5 points. It's not working for me. It's not. You know, Andy Dalton did 19, which was a pickup. C.J. Spiller is still consistent for me, but I'm just not where I'm at. On the other hand, Matthew Stafford is the starting quarterback for Frank's team. Bone Crushers, 20 points, 13 points from Percy Harvin, 18 points from Vincent Jackson. The only really bad player was Antonio Brown from Pittsburgh, wide receiver, and that was because, you know, Wallace got most of the looks that day. And at the end, you pulled it off. You pulled it off with the Chargers defense, even though Manning did put up 22 points on them in the second quarter, which I thought would be enough for me to get within striking distance. It just wasn't enough. And that's just how it is. And that's fantasy football for you guys. So that's the first game I covered. The next game I want to look into is another really big game, especially for Juan, because that vaulted you into the first place of your division. The Pittsburgh Pencil Pushers, 3P, and the 40-year-old versions. This was a big game for Juan. Juan was really watching this because he knew if he would have won, it would have put him in 4-2, either tied or solely in first place. Well, with what everything worked out and how things worked out, you ended up in first place solely in the division. And Cisco, you lost. You're kind of up and down. You win 1, you win 2, you lose 1, you lose 1. You know, it's kind of inconsistently, but you're hanging in there at 3-3. And which is not completely bad, especially, you know, at 6 weeks in. But it's kind of crazy right now. It's crazy. A lot of you guys didn't show up. Your Seahawks defense, 0 points. That really is what kind of screwed you. If they would have just showed up and played, and if David Akers had a couple more kicks, you know, you would have been in there. You would have been there. Brandon Pettigrew, 3 points, not what you wanted. Wells Walker, though, 19 points. Ahmad Bradshaw, 17 points. And Aaron Rodgers, 38. I mean, he's the only reason you're in the game. 38 points. That's a lot of points. He was an animal. Don't talk about him. Michael Vick, 21 points. Even though they lost, and again, Michael Vick gets points. As long as he's in the game, he gets points because he's running and he's throwing. And Jarvis Green, 6 points. Alfred Morris, 10 points, which is one of those recent pickups. And Roddy White, 13 points. But Gates got 20 at that game, but it wasn't enough to win the game, period. But for you, it was enough to get you over the hump. And so now you are in first place, which is congratulations, Juan. The next game is All I Do Is Win versus Team Coast Leon. John, I didn't get no tweets from you or anything saying, hey, can we change the rules? So I'm guessing you won. Nobody got hurt. Your team, for the most part, held on. You know, Vikings defense and -1, but you did enough. It was not a good game. It wasn't a good game. You guys both kind of sucked. You got 67 points. You only got 3 big guys out there: Larry Fitzgerald, James Jones, and Steven Gronkowski, the kicker, were the only ones were and Calvin Johnson, double figures. On the other hand, for Severo, it's just not working out for you, bro. You're like me. You're at 2-4. You just can't really catch too many breaks. It's like you win 1, but then you lose 2, and it's just not working out for you either. Peyton Manning did get 22 points. Doug Martin, 12 points. But that was it. And nobody else did well. Sean Drone from Kansas City, I'm not sure who he is. Reggie Wayne, you know, 6 points. Nate Washington, 5 points. I mean, it wasn't the 49 defense. And these are good teams. It's just it didn't work out for you. And that was the challenge for you. So you guys are, you know, with John, you're sitting at 4-2. I believe you're in tied for first place. And Severo, well, I think you're in tie for last place with me, so it's not looking good for you, bro. Um, the next, and here's another one. Quad City Menudo Bowl, Chicago Soldados. This is another classic example of not being able to predict the league. Gabe, you're back at 4-2 with a 2-game winning streak, tying first place in your division. Again, Gabio. I mean, it just. But apparently, you know what you're doing, bro. Because you reminded me that you know what you're doing. But I lost for words because you played Chicago Soldados, who started off in first place in the first quarter of the season, and now they're at 3-3. Tied for second in the Maroon division. Andrew Luck, 5 points, and I guess I'm not sure if your other quarterback had a bye week. I'm not sure what was the thinking behind that. But that was a killer for you. Victor Cruz got 11. Mike Williams got 17. But it wasn't enough to get you over the hump at 63 versus 75. Where Gabi, I mean, you're just getting lucky. Kevin called 13, and that's when he got hurt also. So he's hurt, I believe. So you might want to double check that. Derek Fadden finally showed up. He got 13 points. And Kyle Rudolph, another guy, I'm not even sure who he is. And you picked him up, and he's doing really well for you for that game. So it's a classic example of fantasy football going crazy and not being able to predict things, but the Quad City Menudo Bowl came out on top, and now you're tied in first place, Gabe. Congratulations, bro. Good for you, man. This was one of the so how the mighty have fallen and how lucky some of these guys are. Really, Marcos, you got a horseshoe up your butt, bro. I really believe this because you didn't play so hot, but like the Midwest Monarchs didn't even show up. I mean, 8 points, 5 points, 3 points, 2 guys in 0 points, and one -3. So Scott Chandler, tight end, Brian Hamilton, wide receiver, both of them got 0 points, and the Colts defense got -3. I mean, that's like when I played you last week that none of my guys showed up either, even though you only played with 7 guys and you only took 2 guys to win. And same goes here. You only needed really 2 guys to win. You had Ray Rice with 22 and Des Bryant with 21, which is the big push. And then, everybody else kind of showed up and did a little bit of here and did enough to beat, a team that really didn't anything. And for that, that is, Marcos, you're at 3-3, tied for second place. Prophet, you could afford to lose one because you're still standing, I believe, at first place. You're tied in first place with John in your division. I believe that's how it works out. And you're playing me next week, so we'll see how I'm trying to prep for you, bro. I'm trying to give you another one because I need a win. So we'll see how it goes. But I mean, I was just talking to Marcos over the weekend. He had no idea. What he was doing. And we kind of looked at his lineup, and it worked out for him. I was expecting Alex Smith to do better, and DeMarco Murray, but it just didn't work out. Again, just if you don't know, Marcos, you might want to check your lineup because you're not doing it enough. DeMarco Murray's hurt, so I believe he's out. So you might want to switch him out. And I don't think there's too much available. So, get at somebody if you got any questions, bro, because it's not going to look good. I think your horseshoe has finally fell out your ass. Let's see here. Finally, we have a winner. La Villita's Finest finally pulls it off with a staggering 133 points. This was probably the best game of the week, and you pulled it off. Sean Green, 34 points. That guy, and that's what the Jets need to do. They just needed to run the ball and give it to Green and see how it works out. AJ Green also finally is doing what I thought he'd be doing this season. Jerry Macklin, he was a streaky pickup for you. The Giants defense, 16 points. 19 points from Brady. So if you guys continue to play the way they're supposed to play, I could see you winning more. But it's just and on the other hand, Smoke a Bowl, Drink a Forte, Vano, your team did well. It's just that finally Ralphie's team came to play, and you were just you just got victimized by what was supposed to be an easy get for you. And Dwayne Bowe, I picked up Dwayne Bowe from my other league. I hate the bastard. He totally burned me. I would drop him. I was reading on him, and they're not confident with him. So that's just a little piece of advice I have because I dropped him on my other league. So who knows what you want to do with that? Maybe it's because of the bye weeks and you're kind of stuck with that, and I totally get that. But it's horrible. It's a horrible what he's doing to us, bro, and it sucked. But again, for the most part, he did really well, and it was just that the team didn't come through, and that just sucked. But hey, Ralph Dog, congratulations, bro. Good for you. You got to win. We were getting a little nervous for you, so big party for you, bro. Big party. That's a party for you, bro. So you got your victory, and Another thumbs up. You get a thumbs up for this one, okay, bro? Good for you. Congratulations, Vano. I'm sorry you were the victim of the worst team in the league.